I will introduce here, so I will take over from you here. Okay. I've already spoken with him. It's not very busy today, yeah? Tomorrow it's going to be really busy?
I don't know, maybe because today it's Friday for some challenge, another game,
Yeah, so tomorrow there's no school, so even more people.
Everybody here in the room who's played Neverwinter Nights, Icewind Dale, Baldur's Gate, it will be a very familiar setting, a very familiar area for you. The story since Neverwinter Nights 2 has progressed 100 years, so a lot has happened in the meantime. The very famous volcano next to the city has erupted and has destroyed the city, and it's now being rebuilt. So you can see that some of the areas of the city are still being constructed. You can see here that they're still building. And one of the things about Neverwinter is that we really want it to be a story. So you will have the city will grow over time as the game continues. Other things that are very that people will recognize for who played Neverwinter Nights and who played Dungeons and Dragons is a lot of little comments, a lot of little connections to Dungeons and Dragons. So you have the dice in the middle, which is very the D20 for Dungeons and Dragons. You have anytime abilities on your mouse, you have encounter abilities and daily abilities. All of those things are very familiar to people who play Dungeons and Dragons. Another important thing for us for Neverwinter Nights was user-generated content. So with Neverwinter Nights 1 and 2, you could have your own server, create your own content, put your own. If we're going to make an MMO, make your own content. So our developers have done an amazing job, and they've created a tool called the Foundry. And with the Foundry, users can create their own content, can create their own storylines. And make them part of the game world. It's not separate from on a different server like in Neverwinter Nights. No, it's part of the real game and part of the content. Completely community-driven system, and on our server in Europe, we already had 300,000 quests created in the first 3 months. It's an amazing amount, like way more content than we ever could make, because yeah, we gave this very powerful tool to our community. One of the things that is very different about Neverwinter, and the reason why it's also a different MMO and it's also a difference from Neverwinter Nights, is the way combat works. It's action-based combat, so not turn-based like in Neverwinter Nights, and not with tab targeting like in some of the current MMOs. Your combat is completely skill-driven. So your character, as you can see, I have a targeting reticule in the middle. I look around with my mouse, and that is how I target things. That is how I decide what to attack. And if a monster decides to attack me, my character doesn't have an ability to dodge or doesn't have an ability to ignore damage. I have to dodge the damage myself by doing this, for example. So I have to be aware of the combat and I have to dodge them.
I have a question.
Yes, of course.
So Neverwinter Nights is on-target MMO, yes?
And Neverwinter is a target MMO system, yeah. We call it an action combat MMO. So I will find some enemies and I can show you very quickly. So to come back to the Foundry, a very quick example. So there you see an NPC and she has a quest for me. I can see that because she has an exclamation mark. We all know what that means. But right next to her is what we call the job board. And on that job board you will be able to find quests that are created by the players. So they're in the world, they're not separate, they're part of it. We see them as equal to the content we make. And this will really allow people who did tabletop role-playing, who played on Neverwinter Nights, if they had stories, if they had adventures, they can continue them in here. They can build them for their friends. And then 5 of their friends can play it, or 500 people, or 5,000 people. If the quest is good, lots of people will play it. So let's finally find some enemies so I can kill them. So there you see some enemies, and you see immediately when I mouse over them, the target goes red. And that means that if I shoot them now, I will hit that person. And if I target that, I will hit that person. And there's another one behind and I can't hit it because there's monsters in front. So I cannot do it tab to find my target, I have to do it with my mouse. And another thing that's cool about Neverwinter is I'm a healing class, I'm a devoted cleric here. So on my own I'm going to have a little bit of trouble with those enemies. But that's okay because I have companions with me. So this guy, for example, is a tank. I can bring him and he will taunt and he will take the damage for me. And the really cool thing about that is that he levels up with me. So when I'm playing, he gets experience, just like a player. And in the beginning, you can quickly see it. In the beginning, he will look like this, like his armor won't be very cool. And then as he grows stronger, as he grows up, his armor will become more ornament and more cool. So I'll summon him. He's with me now. So now I'm ready to start the fight. I will start my fight by telling those guys, boom. Now, after a while they reach me. Now I see in the PvE, solo, that's pretty cool, right? It's pretty nice. Where it really shines, where it's really strong is in PvP. Imagine a group of 20 people with another group of 20 people with this. The strategy that comes into play, the tactics, they are very cool. Very like a team that changes their setup before the fight to be very much about AoE. Counter a team that's very much about, it's very strategical. I'll find another group of enemies. Tank is doing a good job at keeping them off me. Okay, but now completely legal as part of the game to make sure that both of them are happy. One guy can spend the money, he can buy what he wants. The other guy can not spend anything and just play. A central part of Neverwinter. We don't want to force anybody or give the idea that somebody has to spend money. We want to make a game that is so good and such high quality with good storyline, with lots of content that players make. And then if you enjoy yourself, then you will spend money, you will enjoy it, because that's the reason. So we won't tell you if you get to a door or when you come to a dungeon, oh, now you need to pay. No. It's all part of the game right from the get-go. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about today. If any of you have any other questions.
What about you see? Must have a very seamless
well, exactly. What you see here, the quality of the TV isn't very good, but you can see that the graphics are quite strong. And it's running on a good computer now. We've worked with NVIDIA, we've worked with Microsoft, so it uses all the latest technologies to have really good effects, bloom, all the normal things. But if your computer is not so strong, a bit older, then you can very easily just go to the settings, and we have a very expensive system where you can set any detail. The bloom, the lighting, the shadows, the viewing distance, like you can find for your computer the perfect setting to still run it at 60 frames perfect. My computer at work is not very good, and I can play. Don't tell my boss, but I can still play at work. It doesn't look as good as here, but I can still play. Now, don't put this on the internet, please. You will maybe see it. So no, absolutely, people with older computers, with slower computers, they can still play Neverwinter. People with really the technology of right now, the best computers, they will play the game in beautiful graphics like this.
How many person can play on one each other?
So PvP, the biggest map we have right now is 20 versus 20. And in PvE, so in adventure zones, you can be up to 100 people on one map. The way the system works, because we only have one server, so everybody plays on the same server. And then what happens if 100 people are in the same zone and you are number 101, you go into the next map. So the same map but a different instance. So you can have thousands of people in the same map, but your computer will not lag out because you only have 90 people around you, which our client can easily handle that.
We just close
Yes, we're still localizing the game. We're about 80% done. We're finding voice actors. The game will completely voice over in Russian, the entire game. And we're about ready to start closed beta in a couple of months, I would say. We're close, but not quite there yet. The closed beta, we're still looking at that. With our beta and with our game already running in Europe, we have quite a good idea of the hardware and things like that, so we do not want stress tests. What we really want for the Russian community is to have tests for the quality of the localization. That's really the most important thing. So we're going to start small with dedicated people, a couple of guilds, a couple of Neverwinter Nights forums, things like that, and then we're going to build it up slowly. Towards the end, when we have closed betas, it'll be still a pretty small number, but we also will do an open beta. And anyway, the game is free to play, so when it's live, everybody can play it, and it's like a beta. Fully localizing in Russia, yeah. We have an agency in Russia doing the translation for us, and we have a team of native Russian speakers in our office in Amsterdam who do the quality assurance. And the whole game is built with a big budget. It's big quality. You can see the quality. You can feel it from it. And we definitely want the localization to also echo that, to also be of high quality, a high standard. Like what you're looking at now, you can see there's still English, there's some Russian. It's not QA'd at all. So this is what we're showing here at the booth, letting you know that you guys are playing it. You are playing a good version of it.
So all I need is just download content and play.
Absolutely. Yep.
About the target system, will the game require a good connection?
We find that currently on our server you can play the game pretty well on 250 millisecond lag. And we've done, basically the game is made for that, the game is built for that. Of course in PvP you always want the best connection. We've been doing extensive tests all over Russia, and the locations of our servers, I can't tell you where they will be, but they will be in a place where the connection will be good in Russia. If you have good internet connection, then our servers will be ready to keep your ping very low.
And about those jobs made by other players, how are they motivated?
Very good question. So the entire system for the Foundry is community driven. So it's players making the quests. Then there's players who can be moderators. You can volunteer to become a moderator, which means you get the first look at these quests. Then when you're done with playing them, you can say, yeah, this was good, it was appropriate, there was no bad words in it or bad things in it. Then you can say approve, and then it goes into the larger pool. And then of course it doesn't stop there, because then the masses of people will play it. And if 100 people play it and they review it at the end of the quest and they say it wasn't very good, it was 1 star or 2 stars, then the quest kind of falls away. And the creator then knows, oh, okay, the people don't like this, they can type what they don't like and they can change it. Or it gets 5 stars and people say this was fantastic and the end boss was really exciting and the traps were cool. And then he knows, okay, and then it goes further. And then on those job boards it will be more obvious. We are also, with our community team, we'll be featuring quests. So if there's a really good quest made by the community, we'll put it on our website, we'll put it on our V content, we'll tell people about it to really make sure that the people who make good content they become the stars. And we're fine with that. If they make better content than us, awesome. Cool. Anyone else?
No questions, I want to play.
Me too. Well, listen, I'll give you touch with us, and as soon as we are ready to start showing you the game, you're all invited to